Delosier and I had the pleasure of being Dan's golf partner and confidant for the last 30 years. I don't get a chance to speak here much at Congressional or Columbia Country Club, and there's a reason for that. But anyway, I wanted to thank Tina, Ruth Ann, Tina, McGahee, Tate, for inviting me to speak, and Dan Tate Jr. and the Tate family. It means an awful lot to me. And I know that Dan is probably here somewhere, and he's not in a position to deny anything I'm going to say today. So anyway, I ran into Dan Tate before he injured his elbow. And not many people know this, but Dan was unable to pronate his right elbow to a closed position in hitting a golf ball. So when he putted, he would always fool around with his elbow, and he was just an absolute deadly putter. So we played together in numerous Maryland State Golf Association matches, and you know, golf isn't a sport; it's an obsession. And Dan was totally obsessed with the game. He loved the game. He loved to teach people, and he would say to me, "Henry, I can teach you, but you gotta effing listen." And that was the way we carried on our relationship. So with Dan, we'd be sitting in what I call the Champions Lounge, which is at the end of the men's grill. And it was limited engagement where Dan and I would be there and different people would drop by and so forth. And Dan would be sitting there with that big southern smile, and he used to have a big stomach and so forth. And I would come up and I would say, "Dan, I want to kick your ass on that putting green today." And we'd go up to the putting green and we'd putt. But he had that affectionate smile, but he had the temper of Scarlett O'Hara. And if you crossed Mr. Tate, and if he was mad about something, it was like endless problems that you would have. But one of the things I used to do with him on the golf course is we would have a bird test every year. Dan had to know the right birds on the golf course. I said, "Dan, if you don't know the birds, you can't play properly. I'm going to give you an exam at the end of the day." We used to gather rocks and plants and so forth from the golf course. One year I found a meteorite on the golf course at Walden, and I had to let him walk the last hole because we had to put the meteorite in the cart. And one of the memories that I have, we were playing a very close match against, I think, Hobbit's Glen, and Dan used to smoke a cigarette with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, kind of like a Clint Eastwood character. And we had a real important putt that had to be made. I was above the hole and Dan was below the hole, and one of us had to make the putt. So Dan looks at me and he tosses the cigarette down on the golf cart and he says, "Henry, you're in your mother's arms." And he got that elbow together like he does, and knocked the ball straight in the hole, and we ended up winning the match, and so forth. And then there's some other little things. Let's see what else we have here. I guess the thing about Dan is he was such a competitive person. He would always aspire you or inspire you to do better at whatever you were doing. And he had that indefatigable desire to win, no matter what the circumstances were. And he would say to me sometime, "Henry, you're not concentrating." And so anyway, one of the, I guess, stories that I probably shouldn't tell, Bertini related to me. I don't know, is Bertini in the room today? Well, anyway, Bertini was growing some type of a beard on his face, and this isn't a PG joke. But anyway, he was growing some type of beard on his face, and Mr. Tate looks at him and he says, "Bertini," he says, "how long have I known you?" And Bertini says something like 30 years. And Dan says, "My ass looks better than your face." I just learned about that yesterday. I had to tell a story. I'll probably never speak here again. But, you know, that's what happened, and Dan, you're not in a position to deny it either. And the other story is he comes back for a 50-year reunion at his college. I don't know whether it was Georgia or Emory or wherever it was, but he introduces himself to some lady there, and he says, "Hi, I'm Dan Tate." She says, "I know who you are. You bit me on my ass." So that was his youth, probably before he met Tina. But anyway, we'll say that at this point we'll close. We'll say the Irish blessing that Dan, I hope the road always goes up to meet you, and the sun is in your face, and the wind is at your back, and Dan, I love you, man. You're the greatest person. I've never met anybody quite like you, and I'm down to the last couple guys in my foursome, so I hope to be up there to join you some way. And Dan, Godspeed. Thank you.